Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey. On this video is part of my series called Flipping the Script. I'm going to be focusing in on how those who identify as balanced dog trainers assess the current state of the relationship at the very beginning when dealing with a relationship problem between dogs and owners. And here in this video put out by a popular balanced dog trainer of the UK, goes by the name of Adam Spivey. I'm going to be playing a very short clip of this. Again, that's all there is here anyways, is a short clip. In terms of, the ability to be able to assess the current state of the relationship. And the problem, okay, by way of those who identify as balanced dog trainers, by way of appearances, by way of what's revealed or not revealed, by way of how you shine the light on both the role of the owner as well as the role of influence to provide revelation in terms of how you perceive the current state of the relationship. So here the problem is, again, I'm going to play this is very short, but right here you read the caption, says this dog is so dangerous it needs to be euthanized. That's what the last trainer said. And so here you talk about what's revealed. And again, I talk about the setup. So here you see the dog is on a loose leash. Okay, there's clearly treats down here by this individual's foot. This dog is very much trying to grab a hold of something down here. And so again, in terms of, revealing the truth, okay, understand this isn't the image of it. Okay, this isn't how you want to proceed when it comes to evaluating a dog. But here's the thing about, in terms of relationship, once a dog has hit the tipping point, and in terms of certain moments happening, that's the truth, okay? There's your truth. Truth is revealed through certain moments. The issue in terms of, again, this plays into this issue about how dogs can look very balanced during most of the day as they're floating around your house off leash, as they're interacting in certain ways. That plays into the parenting example in terms of how a selfish child can look well behaved most of the day as they're playing their video games, as they're doing their thing. But in terms of the moments that reveal truth, okay, and again, the example you want to look at, because again, if you really think about what I'm saying, this will start to make a lot of sense in terms of the problems in the dog training world with appearances, in terms of influence being intentional, in terms of revelation. And this will come out during certain moments, say when you're walking your dog, trying to get your dog beside you, trying to bring a dog under a reasonable level of control. Or in terms of going back to the parenting example, think of the moment that in terms of a already selfish child, the moment where, and again, the example I use, okay, is a parent putting a reasonable demand on the child to take the garbage out, right? Because you're the parent. It's a reasonable demand. Versus take the garbage out and here's $100. Okay, I mean think about the difference in that example. So for the selfish child, the demand part of it, the parental influence coming online part of it is what's going to provide revelation for an overly selfish child that wants to do what they want to do when they want to do it. In terms of that moment. Versus here's $100. And sure, you can, elicit or generate a response, but ask yourself the question: what does that reveal in terms of the relationship itself, in terms of defining the roles properly? Okay, the current state relationship. It doesn't. Okay, and again, this is the setup. Understand that when you think about the dog training world, with how trainers are superficially motivating dogs at the very beginning to respond without any sort of critical thinking or consideration as to the role of influence to reveal, but also to change, understand that is not part of it. That's totally absent. And so when you consider just how disconnected this picture becomes, or how a counterfeit picture is set in motion within the framework of superficial responses, you'll start to understand why the dog training world is the way that it is. But again, this leads into this whole thing with evaluating, on this video here, a dangerous dog. Okay, but even for a trainer such as this trainer here to even attempt to critique another trainer, and I have no clue who this other trainer is that he's critiquing, is ridiculous. Okay, because understand that even in terms of when you look at the dog training world, when you have certain situations develop, such as the Jeff Gellman bonker situation, which I highlight, which is a great example as to the confusion as to the role of influence within the dog training world, being able for influence to align, but align through a intentional interaction-based method, okay, which makes all the difference in the world versus a superficial idea of things. So when you see certain situations that trigger all the controversy, understand that that still is coming from a place of confusion. And then the other side, and again, you see this happening right here with this trainer, Adam Spivey, to take advantage of that, to try to suggest that their bribery-based methodology offers the answers. Well, that's ridiculous. Okay, understand what's going on here in the dog training world, what's happening, this back and forth. So again, let's go play a brief clip of this video. But again, when you look at, in terms of revelation to reveal this dog, the level of control this dog's holding in and through the owner, this isn't the way to do it. Okay, nothing's being revealed here at all.
This is the dog that needs to be put to sleep. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with people?
When I turned and he didn't follow, he was like, pop the lead. And he said, the harder you do it, if you make him cry, the better.
Oh my God.
So here, and again, here you get this trainer saying, does this look like a dangerously aggressive dog? Well, how would you know that? That would be my challenge. If the method, or if the role of the owner isn't coming together the right way in terms of influence aligning, bring a dog under intentional control, and the right language, I talk about the language of the method, is being spoken in such a way to actually, be able to gain context. Okay, so if you're walking along just kind of a semi-loose leash, or using treats to motivate a response with the dog, you're not going to see that. And again, understand, this is why people get blindsided. If you go back to the video, we watched the video I did on Tom Davis, calls himself America's Canine Educator, and this dog that was, as he's trying to build a rapport with the dog, because this is very similar. These type of themes, understand these themes are, link into all this stuff, trying to build a rapport with the dog, with engaging with the game of tug, and then, kind of being very passive. Everything, again, I mentioned that video, if you watch it, you'll see the same type of, issue here. In terms of what's revealed or not revealed, but this dog, you see the trainer not engaged, not being proactive in terms of, speaking the right language through, again, how influence is aligning properly, and then suddenly it seems like out of nowhere to the trainer taking the hit, the dog becoming aggressive. But here it's the same type of setup, so again, understand that when trainers are trying to critique other trainers, ask the question, well, what's their foundation? Is it a foundation of bribery? So where nothing's revealed, but again, certain moments are being offered up as though, because that's what's happening here, saying, well, this dog's not dangerous. Well, what qualifies that? I mean, ask the question, just like the parenting example, through certain moments, how it is that, again, a selfish child can look, well-behaved most of the day. And so it's no different in the dog training world. Trainers are making assumptions based on appearances. Understand that once a dog gains a level of control in the relationship, they gain comfort that way. They're fulfilled that way. They can look very balanced. The tail can be wagging before someone takes a bite. You have to really be able to understand. So the revelation comes through, again, both the role of the owner and the role of influence aligning properly, to create, not just to reveal, to get real-time information in every moment, but also change itself. So again, my encouragement is when you see, again, this type of assessment, you should really be asking questions, or at least be thinking or considering the parenting example, because the same themes exist. The same issues exist. The same type of setup for a disconnected picture exists. So again, encourage you, if you look for information, check out my website. I have lots of great information. I talk about not just the problem, but the solution by way of a intentional interaction-based method. Thanks for watching.